Hi Matrix, my name is Emily Best. I go by Save My Hair Emily on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I have been a licensed hairdresser for almost 4 years now. I have been using Matrix for those whole 4 years, anywhere from the start of school up until working with Salon by InStyle at JCPenney's. I am a senior designer, and one of my major goals is to become a Matrix educator and also be an educator for Salon by InStyle, and I have 2 things under my belt. Education is a huge goal for me, as I love to educate people. I love to educate my colleagues and my coworkers and even people who message me on Instagram. I'm always looking for something new. If you message me and ask me or pull me off to the side and ask me, hey, how did you get this? I'll be more than welcome to sit down and break down whatever formula I used, whatever steps I used, and how we got to my end goal. I always have people messaging me on Instagram asking me, what is this? How do I do this? How did you achieve this? And they always get a response back. So Matrix color line is, I have been using them, like I said, for 4 years. It is one of our major color lines here at JCPenney's Salon by InStyle, and I absolutely love it. During 2020, COVID-19 hit our salon, and unfortunately we were out of work for 12 weeks for furloughed. And during that time, I took the time out of my day to become educated in everything and anything. I have multiple sanitation certificates, I have multiple color certificates, and one of the big one is Matrix Color Me certificate for So Color. One of the big things I do is I'm a vivid specialist. So anybody who wants unicorn hair, pastel hair, rainbow hair, blue hair, pink hair, yellow hair, green hair, that is me. That is what I do. I love when my clients come in and they're like, let's do it. Let's do whatever you want to do. Or, hey, I want rainbows. And I'm like, all right, let's go for it. So one of the big things I love about So Color Cult, that I've never had anybody complain about the color bleeding. I've never had anybody complain about the color staining and the longevity of the color itself. When I compare it with the Keep Me Vivid line, the shampoo, conditioner, and the laminate, and I send my clients home with all of those products, they come back and their color is just fantastic. There's barely any fade. And we always just go in and do a refresh, quick roots or anything they want to change up, and it's fantastic. I love it. So I have my client coming in today. We are going to do a cotton color for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. All right, so if you see here, my client has very, very long hair. She hasn't had a real haircut in about 3 or 4 years. She had a very bad experience, so we decided to just go ahead and chop off all that dead, damaged hair. So I am taking my Baby's List clippers and just removing all that damage for a very seamless cut. And we took about at least 6 to 7 inches off the hair off in total. Alright, now for this color process, we didn't want to do a full head of Vivids, but what we wanted to do is to keep a veil of hair color up top and also keep a very dark color underneath. So here I am separating the top portion of her hair, starting at the crown, and then I also separate from the occipital bone down to her nape, and I leave out that middle portion of her hair. Right, so due to the length of the video and the process, I had to cut down a little bit of the process, but this is myself using Color Sync in 3N on the bottom portion of her hair from the occipital bone to the nape. And we wanted to keep it kind of natural, so we only dropped it a level darker than her actual hair color. Alright, so due to the length of this video, we had to cut down a little bit more time. I did put a piece of film from the wrapped around the crown of her head, just to make sure nothing got into that middle portion of her hair. We are using 3N in Color Sync just to kind of coat the top of the veil of color that we were doing. I did let this process for a full 25 minutes in room temperature. After I let her sit for 25 minutes in room temperature with 3N Color Sync on her hair, we went over to the shampoo bowl and I shampooed her with Matrix Biolage Color Last and also conditioned her with Matrix Biolage Hydro Source to make sure all that hydration was still in her hair. We did a quick blow dry before our next process step. So after we had already did a quick blow dry on her, I took the middle portion of her head and I decided to platinum card from her crown to her occipital bone, and we used 20 to 25 volume developer. I put each piece of hair in a foil, let it process for about 15-20 minutes, started double checking, and then I started pulling the foils and putting the lightener on her scalp and letting it sit for another 15 to 20 minutes to ensure even and smooth lift. We're using 6 different colors today in the so-called collection. These are all semis. So what I did is I started up by the temple and started up at the crown of her head. And I did very, very thin slices, not even ½ inch, maybe 1/8. And I started in with a base of purple, and I just worked my way down up to the rainbow. Now I did do a prism technique to where we over direct the hair into the growth pattern. That's why you see me here lifting the color and the hair over and over directing on her scalp, and this ensures a nice even blend of rainbow, so it's not so harsh and it blends very, very nicely in the end result. And I do this all around her head. I do it in very even sections, so it ensures no overlapping, no bleeding or anything like that. I did this in about 4 or 5 sections all the way around her head from temple to temple, and it did take a little while, but the end result is perfect. So our haircut today, we wanted to keep it very, very simple, just because she did have a bad experience with a haircut before and really bad experience with layering. She already had previous layers being grown out, so we didn't want to add any more into it. So we did a basic 0-degree haircut just to kind of even and level her out all over and have those layers kind of shine on through. We didn't want to add any more layers into the hair just because I did want to keep a veil over the rainbow, so it was more of a hidden rainbow look, and that way she can hide it whenever she needed to. So after we blew dry her all out, we decided to add some nice face framing fringe. So we decided on a curtain bang. Nothing too dramatic. We wanted to keep it nice and long so she can pull it back when needed to at work. So I decided to take the first section and I pulled it down to about the tip of her nose, maybe to the middle of the top lip. And then I decided to take the side sections, pull them off and over direct them and cut them at an angle so they nicely blended all together. I also took these sections and I compared them to the side of these hair, and I blended them together using a sliding technique to make sure for a nice even blend of the face framing layers. For every portion of the styling of this video, for blow drying all the way to curling with my flat iron here, so I use the Matrix All-in-One Coconut Infusion Multi-Benefit Spray. It's one of my favorite products I use on every single one of my clients. I can use it on wet and dry hair. So before I blow dry, I towel dry the hair to about 75%, spray this in, get it all combed in, and then right before I curl the hair or flat iron the hair, I also spray it in and comb it through, and then I go ahead and continue my styling process. One of the big things that I love about finishing a style is I can go outside and do video photography and photography, which is a huge inspiration for me for Instagram and Facebook. Thank you again, Matrix Education team. This was a wonderful opportunity.